Hey guys, it's Tuesday and we're in the studio, and today we are actually doing some stuff that's pretty exciting for us because we're going to change the way that we do digital classroom. Now, digital classroom we always do live from our studio, and over time we found some problems with, for example, audio that didn't sync up correctly. We found some problems that we wanted more cameras. And after Photokina we actually talked and we decided that we're going to change the whole setup. We're going to use a 19-inch rack which we just ordered, and we're going to put probably the ATEM in there from Blackmagic and a mixer for audio so that we can also use a second wireless mic and an extra mic for our interns for the questions. And we just updated Wirecast, so a lot of different stuff that we tried. And of course we're going to try to go live in a moment to see if everything works, because to be honest, if you do so much changes, it's not wise to wait for the digital classroom broadcast, because normally with digital classroom there's always something that goes wrong, but that's live. So we have to make sure that everything works before we go live with digital classroom. So that's what we're actually going to test now. So I'm going to show you part of the new setup, because the new setup isn't of course ready yet, but I'm going to show you part of it. Okay guys, so you're now looking at the new Wirecast version 7, which should be a lot faster and should have a lot of options which probably we're never going to use. Now, in the past we used two Blackmagics, as you can see here, and two cameras. Now this is one of the cameras because we don't have everything set up now. And what we're going to do in the future is actually we're going to use the ATEM to get two of those cameras and a few cheaper cameras. So we're gonna probably switch to 4 points. So now we only have 2 cameras and we're gonna switch to 4. And we also changed the audio. So normally we had the audio on one of the cameras because in the past we had some problems with out of sync audio after retouching, and we want to solve that. So what we do now is, instead of having the audio on camera, we're actually going to use the audio straight into the Blackmagic. And that also opens up some other possibilities. Because you guys asked me, can you have guests during digital classroom, or can you get Nadine to speak or another model, and the questions during digital broadcast we want to hear. So we needed more mics. So by using the input on the Blackmagic like this, we now can use a mixer. And here you can see my audio, that's the Sennheiser called Frank, and we have the Boya here, another wireless set, and that's called Guest. And we have one of the Zoom recorders, the smallest Zoom recorder, connected to the mixer too. So now we have 3 audio inputs, and as you can see we can do even more in the future. And of course, as cameras we're going to use the RX100, so we're going to use GVC we still have laying around, and the 2 Sony. So we're going to switch to 4 cameras, and of course the webcam. So that's going to be 5 cameras, and who knows what else. So I think for now this is it, and we're gonna test out during a live broadcast today if everything works. But first I have to go to CameraNu to pick something up, and well, join me in the next scene and you can see what we're picking up. Oh, and by the way, Anouk is testing the audio at the moment. So Anouk, is everything going through? Yeah. Awesome. Oh, and the second monitor you see here, by the way, is done for the ATEM control in a moment. As soon as we have the ATEM in, or we're going to use that by iPad, and we're going to use the second monitor for viewing the ATEM or the live chat or whatever. We still have to figure that one out. And the last thing is actually we ordered a 19-inch rack flight case to put everything in, because we also want to do this on location. So guys, we have some exciting plans for you, and we just hope everything will work. But we'll see. Okay, arriving at CameraNu to pick up a camera and a new lens for testing, and of course to test the case relay on a Canon, because it doesn't work on Sony yet. Okay, we're back home, and what we actually picked up is a Canon 5DS and a new lens which we have to test. It's a 15mm. And it's an alternative for some other manual focusable lenses. I'm going to show you it very quickly, if I can find it. Oh, there we go. So it's an Irix lens, 15mm, manually focusable, on the Canon 5DS. So it's always cool to play with other cameras. So we're going to test the camera. And of course we're also going to test the lens, but I also got a converter with it, so we can also test it on the A7R II. So it's going to be interesting to see how the same lens performs on both bodies. Okay, a lot of you guys always ask me like Lightroom or no Lightroom. Well, in my opinion, you can't live without Lightroom. Lightroom is without a doubt the place where all your images live. It's where you store your images, where you create smart albums, and of course where you can do some retouching. Although for raw developing I like DxO Optics or Capture One more. But Lightroom is where my images live. Now, I just got an email from a magazine called 100%NL. And I want to use an image I shot a while ago from Brownie Dutch. He's a Dutch artist. And the thing is, I don't know which year it was. But don't worry, because Lightroom has an option for that. And it's called Smart Albums. So if you're ever in doubt about how to use Lightroom, I'm going to show you now what is very, very handy in Lightroom. So whatever I shoot, if it's important, I always give it a keyword. In this case, celebs. And when I click here, I can actually see an overview of the best shots I took from the artists. So the only thing I now have to do is find one from Brownie Dutch. There he is. Now this is not the picture they want, for the very simple reason they want something else with a guitar. But now I know that I shot the image in 2012. So now the only thing I have to do is find my year 2012 over here in retouched images. And I can find my image of Brownie Dutch really fast, because now I only have to go to Studio and to the spec group, because I know he's part of that group. And then I can find my image. There we go. So if you're ever in doubt about Lightroom, as you can see here, this is one of the reasons, and there we have the shot, why I love Lightroom, because I found the shot they want within seconds. Okay, now this is the screen where I've been looking at most of the day, and it's incredibly frustrating. In the old series of Wirecast, we always created events for our digital live broadcasts. Digital Classroom, of course. The thing is that in the new version I can use the old event, but somehow I'm not able to create new events. And I've been at it for 2-3 hours creating events on YouTube, creating events in Wirecast, and it just doesn't work. So I'm gonna quit now, because I think 3-4 hours of twinkling around is more than enough. So I send an email to Telestream support, which I normally never do, because I always try to figure it out myself or with the use of internet, but in this case I'm totally stuck. So, well, that's it. I can't do anything more, so I'm gonna close this down, gonna go home and join Anna for dinner, and then hope to have a relaxing evening. So thank you so very much for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Behind the Closed Doors. And now my camera doesn't want to stop. Just kidding.